Okay, so here's this disclaimer. Disclaimer. Disclaimer? Yeah, whatever. It's a disc. Disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. I was 2. Side note. Allowance is made for fair use. Quote unquote. Fair use. For purposes such as criticism. Oh, it's going to be a lot of criticism today. Comment. I'm going to comment a lot today. News reporting. There's going to be almost no news. No, there's just almost no news. I had a good day. Is that news? Teaching. Sure. It's going to teach you something. Sure, comma, scholarship. If you choose to send someone to college, I guess. Yes. Education and research. I've done a lot of that. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be, quote unquote, fucking infringing. Meaning, you took somebody's shit, turned it into other shit. Now it's art. It was art before, but now it's double art. So it's art. And you're using that shit because you don't think it's shit. All right. Love the English language. And I appreciate you. Yes, indeed, Lizard Tree. We're going straight after dark. As a matter of fact, let me just.
Ooh, well, damn, baby. Did one of y'all just turn the heat up?
Oh, yeah.
Or did it just get real sexy in here?
It's always fucking sexy in here. What do you think? I don't
Back
give
again,
a fuck
baby.
about that. What, monetization?
With
Are you kidding?
Aaron, after dark.
Ha! True, Kishon! Hold on. Stand by. Stand by, please. Stand by casually. Your call. But you don't really have to stand by. I'm not gonna waste your time too much tonight. Let me just have a sip off this coffee. I do have the panel up. I haven't put it in the chat yet. I just want to get a little off my chest. Little off my chest. Talk a little to the folks out there who Keeson. Yes, Keeson. I haven't seen Keeson in a minute. He's probably busy though. Good on him for being so. I know that feeling. Oh, geez. Something happened, and the element editor said, oh, that doesn't exist. What? Hold on a second, let me refresh that. What the hell happened there? I gotta open up the whole thing. I don't want to crash. Anyway, okay. So whatever happened, I will, something happened again? Oh, man. My alert's gone done screwy. Anyhow, art. God dang. Isn't it a beautiful thing? Is the music blasting? Good, I hope you're feeling it deep inside of your anus. The gluteus, the whole thing bouncing. Whatever it is, just bounce it like bow. Bow. Yeah, baby. It's truly. I don't give a fuck about what other people think. I'm here to entertain. I'm here to talk about what I feel. I'm here to talk about philosophy. I'm here to talk about the universe. I'm here to talk about the things that I found. And I try not to fuck around with you. I wouldn't mess around with your entertainment values. That's just not, you trust me with your entertainment values. I'm not going to go send you to Paddington 1. No, I'm going to send you to Paddington 2 because I want you to cry. I want you to come back and be like, damn it, dude, I thought you were messing with me. And I'm, no, you cried, didn't you? Yes, I cried. Everybody cries at Paddington Mickey freaking 2. Why? Because it makes you look up. Wow, I'm pretty surprised that Stream Elements is just like toasty, gonna have to take it out of each one of the scenes. Yeah, it's a little unhinged today, but I don't really care. I think you're here for a little bit of unhinged because I'm going to talk about a lot of shit. I have seen, and you know as I do, I watch a lot of things, a lot of stuff and a lot of people. Whether you're in the, what is that, Redosphere? I don't give a I don't really care. It's so stupid. You're on YouTube. That's really what I wanted to talk about. Do you realize you're on YouTube? I hope so. You're watching a show. I hope you've subscribed. If you haven't, it's cool. But I'd like you to subscribe because then you hit the button. Make sure to get that all button up there. Not that, like, choose for me artisanally, please, YouTube. Because then they never do. Then they're like, you don't need to see that shit. Lizard Tree, I love that you're here. By the way, Lizard Tree goes back to the early days of me as the 2-viewer Andy, as opposed to the 6-viewer Andy, which every single one of you means something to me. But 7-viewer, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm counting. Screw you, if you think I shouldn't count. I count every single person. Why? It's like being in a club. You're playing a guitar, whatever, or you're playing your music, or you're showing your art. If you're having it at a display, well then, you know, hopefully you end up like this one. This very unassuming little piece of art that is so unreal to see in person when you actually see it up close. It generally looks like this, and it's just everybody just like amassed around it, right? And you're like, why is she so, look at how tiny it is. It's behind all that glass. It's almost impossible to see behind everybody, but that's the height. That's the best. There's a mystery in there. There's that's been stolen more times than you can imagine. It was 3 times larger, apparently, almost 3 times larger. And there's a ton cut out of it because it's been stolen so many times because it's that freaking valuable. Now you're like, Aaron, what does this have to do with streaming? If you're asking that question, you haven't been watching enough of me. Look, friends, the mental prisons are in the way that we experience and see art. If we start to see it as just a picture hanging on the wall, as a little tiny piece in a little tiny frame, then we miss the whole meaning. Are you going to miss the Mona Lisa? I'm not saying that the streamers are Mona Lisa. Good God, a lot of them are, like Hieronymus Bosch's, let me see. Oh, yeah, it's right in front of me. Good God, I knew I had it in the list. But, it's more like the nightmare going on. I'll share a little of that, too. But, let me flip off the Luma. Anyhow, what I'm going to talk about today is the pain inflicted for no apparent reason out of art. An institution that's meant to egalitarianize the breach. Dank, good evening. I hope everybody's having a great day. I think that's the whole point. I hope that everybody is having a good time. I hope that everybody's getting entertained and treated well and shown the beauty or shown the darkness or whatever it is that they want to get out of it. But I hope that they're not being sold up a fucking river. I hope that they're not being sold a bill of goods. And there's a lot of that. And just like how I'm pretty honest about the way that I approach my patronage, I wish everybody was just open to say, this is art. It's valued at what you believe it's valued at. If you choose to pay for the entrance fee, if there is one, so be it. If not, I hope you enjoy it because that's what it's there for. I hope you get something out of it. I hope you feel something. I hope that you see it. And that's the whole point. Instead of just going at it that way or some other way, there's all of these crazy angles by anybody who is not actually motherfucking creative or an artist to begin with. And that is my point. I've said it a number of times, maybe this space isn't for everybody to be, just jumping on and just crybabying or cry bullying or cry with the fuck ever. Doing whatever that shit is. Creating a drama state out of something that is just TV. Now, if you want to watch that, I understand. It's an age-old practice of WWF. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just all over the place, but I'm just talking about across the field. They're little tiny fish in the sea. I mean, honestly, Dank, to be frank with you, if you saw some of the stuff I've been diving deep into, it's very strange, to be frank. Well, let me start it off, and then I'll tell you what's gone down. Good evening, everybody. I'm AronMSound, and this is the show known as Look Up, where I interject myself into a conversation that most people don't want me to be involved with, and by way of which, I take it to a place that, nobody expects it to go. And tonight, I'm talking about, well, the place that you're watching right now. I'm talking about the lack of art and creativity. I'm talking about the lack of individuality. I'm talking about the cultism and the strangeness with which taking part in a chat and watching a show has taken on in the modern day, to where people are so lonely after COVID that they seem to have glommed on to this system that is nothing more than having an ability to throw peanuts at a show, which, by the way, we should have. And by the way, if I ever get monetized of any nature, I will definitely, like, if I have a membership, I will have peanuts that you can throw if you disagree. I guarantee you. I will have a little person that goes, "Oh," and peanuts. Knowing me, it'll probably be me. So, what do I want to talk to you about today? I want to talk to you about love. I want to talk about freeing love, about not, yes, lizard tree, yeah, if you agree or disagree, yeah, peanuts, because that's what it's about. That's what it's about. It's not about being in a clique or out of a clique, because it doesn't fucking exist. That's an imaginary state. If you didn't believe it before, if you didn't know that all this stuff that we follow is something that we create for ourselves, this is fucking proof. You're here and you're not. You're not actually here. You're just there in a chat. You don't actually exist even. It's just a mass of our both assumed sense that you do. You could be a computer. That's the coming day, apparently, that AI might actually replace some people. I never fit in anywhere as well, Lizard Tree. That's why I think we appreciate each other. A lot of mirroring. I'm not, if it's good evening, Bridget. How are you feeling, Bridget Moten? Ladies and gentlemen, good to see you. I believe, and I've always said this, so that's the moniker of my station, my channel, is that this is the home of the awkward, friend of the friendless, and I do believe in you, because I know humanity has a great chance, and I'm talking about everybody, the viewership, I'm talking about anybody who happens to come along on this. We have a great chance to be better at all times, to grow and become something so unreal, truly, in ourselves. Now, I don't want to sound preachy, but I'm going to sound preachy. So I'm going to tell you this right now from the get. That the things I've come across in the past couple weeks are nothing less than transformative. And I don't say that lightly. I have to share this because, as you well know, as you all well know, I am on a journey, as most of us are, to seek a greater enlightenment at all times, a greater sense of self and the world and the universe, the greater being and the connectivity between us all, an understanding of my fellow human. Forget about man, forget about your race, we're human. You cut any person, they still bleed the same blood. Paraphrasing terribly Shakespeare there. But the fact remains, we are of the same. You take us off this planet, we all stop breathing out in space. We don't exist without this planet. We are on the same home space. As soon as we get out there, we're very much one, and this is our only place. A little blue dot. I've shared it before. A little blue dot. That's all we got. So, while some are bickering about whose fucking pud, nickel, I'm sorry, whose little nub, genderless? I don't know. It's more robust than somebody else's or some bullshit. I mean, if that's what you want to watch, cool. WWF is cool. I understand. But at the same time, this is real for a lot of these folks because they aren't actually anything creative. There isn't a show. There isn't like a LARP going on where there's 8. I mean, like, and seriously, I've been thinking about doing this, to be frank with you, and just be above board that I can tell you this right now, and you won't believe it when it actually happens. Get 8 different streamers together with a large-scale storyline over 3 years and LARP across the stream, and you would never know because you don't know the difference. Most people don't know the difference anymore. And that's part of the problem. I could pull the wool right over your eyes, and most people pull the wool right over their own. To quote J.R. Bob Dobbs. But I don't even have to do that because why is Dank in here? Because anybody is welcome here, Green Goblin, and that's my point this evening. Love is love, and if you don't understand that this is a show and not a space to own, drama gaming. Oh yeah, you want me to drama game? I'll show you a LARP that spans across the fucking planet that none of you have any clue over. But we haven't even gotten there. I've shown you a lot of other things. But that's not what I'm talking about tonight. Tonight I'm talking about the inevitable state of sensibility loss, sense of self loss, sense of disconnectedness. That is key to disenfranchising people so that they seek a call to authority in the vacuum. And in that vacuum, well, that's where true problems rise. That's where any of the worst of our own have always come to fruition because charismatic and intolerant and cruel humans have come to power in one way or another. Now, I have found channels that you would be astonished to know exist. Much less the fact that these channels, if you think that 300 or 400 viewers is large, try 3,400 and 6,000 and 10,000. And their names you don't even recognize, I know. Because I was shocked to find some of these things in my search in the past couple weeks, but part of how I got there. And by the way, Green Goblin, all are welcome. I'll say that again, all are welcome. Why? Because it's the club where you all deal with your own chat. If you argue or want to have a debate, you can always come up here. I have the panel actually here. You know what? Let me put it open. It is open panel today, as it is every day, pretty much. But I haven't even gotten to the topic, which is you're being sold a charismatic lie. Not even a noble lie, but a charismatic lie that is like glamming. As someone who has gone incredibly deep into the darkness in the past couple weeks, not his own, but in the research around a certain set of people, I can only say that I have seen what darkness looks like. I knew what it was before, but I never looked at that, let's call it the sector. And what I came to find shook me and leads me to feel that it's important to spread positive, even if it sounds like wrath, which it isn't. It's probably just scolding from a perception or point of view that, like anyone, it's an opinion, so we're all gonna have them. We all got our own brand. We like it just like our own, everything else. Anyhow, the greater demons, those that serve the angels, there are some that just feed off your negative and your pain. Some that just come in and use a human as an avatar, so that they may reach out and cause actual destruction so that they can feed off the sour disdain, the sour pain, the sour blood soak. And there are some who are literally there to just hold up the pillar of cognition, of time, of ideas, and they are benign. And above them all are these concepts of angels. And why have I gone there? Why have I jumped to the metaphysical? Because this bridge from where I was and where we're at right now, and the gateway process that I've been practicing recently, has led me to feel like there is nothing less than an otherworldly importance to measuring how you and I treat each other. And in that measure, I would say it's very important that we end up high on the scale, because when we don't, my friends, all fucking hell breaks loose. And would you know if it hadn't already? Good evening, Genevieve. I don't know, Genevieve. You'd have to tell me. So, that said, feeling more than a moral imperative to talk about this, and more than a ethical responsibility, I think, in certain senses, to say, if you're looking for pain without solution, I will not present that. I'm going to say things that may upset a lot of folks. It is what it is. The truth is weird, and it sucks for most people. But here's the truth. Most people really enjoy. I've been missing you all. I've been really busy, and I've been working on how to take this all further, and working on how to start approaching just new scenarios, and what I really want to do with the next phase. As this will always keep moving forward, even if the imagery seems similar or not. I will always keep this moving forward. And now that I have a bit of an imperative and a bit of a practice that I want to bring, and a bit of a, well, let's just say I've got giants to slay, I feel. And why not? I came on here for a short time, and now I'm on for almost 9 months, so screw it. Commit. Commit. Commit! You've heard me say that. Anyways. What in my craw? What's something that I need to tell you? There's a whole bunch of people that'll sell you the moon, that'll sell you and your soul to nowhere, that'll sell you and your spirits to nowhere, that'll sell you a circular bit of bullshit, whether it be drama or fear or logic. I mean, I've heard recently, and I was talking about it on the last panel, we were sharing, somebody say that men are incapable of love, which of course, my debunking of that is at every given point in human history, men have actually been the dominating force in creating romanticism, love, the ethics of love, all the different designations, including sharing that alongside with women, because we are yin and yang, much less the fact that in our brains, the place where love and pain and all the rest of our emotions actually exhibit their feelings, their actual, where the chemical source is right in front of the amygdala, and it is the same in both men and women. So there it is. That's my kabam! Anyways, I'm glad you're doing well, everybody, by the way. Caffeine is a good thing. Look, alongside that little thing that people are doing seems to be, a need to create a us versus them. And it's easy to fall into that because Everything about humanity wants to be a tribe, right? Everything about us says we want to be connected and be in a clique, and we don't want to be on the outsiders. We don't want to be different. We don't want to, let's just, and we can see that person has something we like, or, or there's something about the situation we like. Because drama, pain, confrontation when it's not us. But that's not just intriguing, that's called titillating. That's why Maury Povich exists. Yeah, exists. We talked about this last time. He's still alive. That's why Sally Jesse Raphael was on forever. That's why still to this day, you've got newspapers like the National Enquirer. That's why there's, newspapers, oh my God. Clink, clink. Sorry. It's online. It's gotta be online, Come on. Dog mom gives birth to alien daughter. That's up next. Wolverines in the forest. Are they eating your babies? Yeah. That shit was hot. They still have, no, it's still, what am I talking about? It's at the supermarket. Except they make just bigger, glossier ones like, how many ways did Princess Diana actually bite the dust? We have close images of her forehead. 1,200 of them. You shall look at them all. Anyways. It's the same thing. It's the same fucking shit. If you didn't know, it's the same shit. Whether it's Princella. By the way, I'd like to introduce you all if you didn't catch. This is the new, we're kind of making her a runner. She is one of the producers. Anyway, this is Ruby, everybody. She's very teeny. She's actually getting bigger as you see her. Literally, if I just slowly move towards the camera, she's getting bigger as you see her. She is. She's becoming very, very much the house love. Everybody loves Ruby, by the way. But she is very rambunctious. As soon as you turn the lights on, she's like, anyhow. Look, if somebody says, love your neighbor, and they don't say how, with empathy, looking at yourself first, seeking a commiseration, a compromise, and or a cooperation, seeking rational discussion, seeing things through other people's eyes, aka empathy, and the like. If it's just a battle, are you helping anything? Are you taking part in something positive? Are you spreading love? Or are you just becoming part of the me, I need? Each one of us has the capability of making such powerful decisions every single moment of every single day that can affect everybody around us. And believe it or not, it is a chain effect mechanism because we're all connected. Whether you want to appreciate that or not, I'm going to say it. Whether you want to admit it or not, you can leave it out of the rest of it. We're all connected, so be kind to one another. The more you're kind to the people around you, even if they don't reciprocate it, it will come back around. Why? Because energy never dissipates. I read you the entirety of a military paper that said that we come from a black hole. We come from a white hole and we go to a black hole. And we exist in all space and time. Unilaterally, we're always there. And we return to, after the free will, to no free will and just thought, comprehension. So what do you want to do during your life? Do you want to be part of the oneness, the enjoyment of it, or the pain of it? Well, you can do either. You have the choice. Maybe that's the time to learn about it. Because honestly, great love is always in perspective of the shitty love, the pains. It's always about what we learn next. And some people need to learn lessons. So nothing against you if you do. I understand it. That's by the way, she would be looking at her teeth. Yeah. Covet what they possess, intelligence, lifestyle, relationships, money, or even personal achievements. Absolutely be oneself. Genevieve, they should have had and be oneself. Individuality, yet understanding that you are part of a larger mass, that you have a balance and a certain unequivocal responsibility to be kind to one another because we are part of a symbiotic, larger than relationship. Whether you like it or not. That's the problem, is humans don't like it because somebody at the top took advantage of a whole bunch of us. Over and over and over. So everybody wants to get their ins. Well, guess what? We got to come to a point where we all look at each other and go, that's not necessary anymore. We can get what we all need. We just got to stop fighting for it. And that's really the facts. I have read studies over and over again that the Earth is capable of actually sustaining up to 20 billion people, 20 billion humans en masse with extreme experience, extreme positive experience, extreme high ratio of, that's everybody in Africa, that's everybody in Asia, that's everybody. There's, what, 8 billion now? That's twice over plus. But we can't do it now because we're wasteful. Now, when I'm saying this stuff, I don't want to, I hate sounding preachy, but I can't help it. I can't help it. We need to not just do better about caring about one another and distribution and this whole state of false scarcity that is actually manufactured by people that are obviously, if you're watching this, most people are going to be way, way beyond that. Multi-generational wealth and experiences that I hate to tell you, from what I've seen firsthand, most people can't even possibly imagine the experiences or the lifestyle or even the smells of the environment or the servants or the ways that life could be. Especially once AI gets into things and the robots come in and we have to start dealing with, whether or not we ourselves want to add in robotic parts, make ourselves smarter, faster, the $6 million person. These are things that are coming. But I digress. Do we want to be ready for that? Or do you want to concern yourself with what's between someone's legs, or who called who, or, some little ass grifter that really should just, have the sheriff called on them? I mean, if you want to see some grifters, I can point some out. But 400 viewers, 500 viewers, 1,000 viewers? No, I'm talking about thousands of viewers throwing their money to a pain point advertising system with no actual result. The allowance is repetitive, and if it's up to anybody, it's up to the viewer. It's up to the viewer. It's up to the person watching. It's up to whether or not you turn the fucking TV on or not. It's the oldest argument of the entire thing. If you don't like it, turn it off. Well, this is true. So people like it enough. They're willing to buy into it. Over and over again, I challenge you to look at all of the results and hashtags. There's always going to be more negative hashtags, more argumentative hashtags, more points of view that are just simply there to be shitty. They don't even need to make any sense. Anyways, follow who you will. It's true. Follow who you will. Doesn't mean I can't talk shit about it. I can't, and I'm gonna, because I've seen, like I said, I think it was really a combination of the fact that I found out that a whole bunch of fucking wealthy people opened up several portals to demons. I found quantifiable evidence from a satellite that a plane that went missing above the Indian Ocean on the same day that I was flying above the Indian Ocean some time ago, in the same pattern I was flying above the Indian Ocean. While I was flying above the Indian Ocean, I finally found out how they went missing. And one of the most recognizable features was something that I can't even get into it. I will have a video about this, but I'll just tell you this. Life is too short. The world is too weird. The universe is too expansive. There's too many options. There's too many things going on. If you're bogged down with someone selling you an argument, some kind of fucking bullshit, and isn't trying to say, hey, come on out of there. Get out of the hole. Come on out and come boogie. You can boogie, but I mean, like, forget about shit talking. I'm not going to sit here and actually even point to any names. I'm going to say this it's extreme. When you hear the negativity, when you hear something that's not a call to authority. And I'm calling to the authority of those viewing. Calling to the authority of love. Because that is the thing that bonds us all. And I'll even take it down to the fact that in most cases, all of us were created out of some sense of love. We were raised out of love. We were given some chance. And when we weren't, somebody tried. And if they didn't, you deserve it now. Come join us here. There's enough love. There's enough to go around. It's not to be created. It's not to be destroyed. It is not to be manufactured as scarcity. Appreciation for others and a trust first before you decide that someone who doesn't agree, someone who doesn't see things the same way is somehow untrustworthy, or that the lack of proof in any situation has ever meant proof. Which is the most common YouTube shit I've seen. Show me your receipts, If I'm just having a conversation with you and the definitions of scenarios are clear, or the definitions of words are clear, or you're the one coming with the complaint, the receipts are always going to be yours. The plaintiff has to bring the complaint and show that it's some valor. Now, if you come with your complaint and it turns out that you're the actual AITA and yeah, you are, judge says yes, then you own up to it because that's what happened. Yeah, and then you keep opening up to it and you don't turn around and say whatever later. And you definitely don't lie. By omission or otherwise. You can if you want. But then you're just part of the problem, right? Tiring at best. Boorish at worst. Stupid right in the middle. But then a lot of adults out here seem to think that stupid is just how you do when you turn the camera on. But that's the whole example of like, oh, you're not a fucking performer. You have no clue what you're doing here. You have nothing to say to anybody. And so what you're going to do is roll around in the muck, shit in the hand, and go like, look at how ugly I am. But no, you're ugly because I'm ugly. Oh, shut up. Let it alone. Go away. Find somewhere else to do something ugly. Go to your local bar. There's plenty of that. Go to the corner. Scream at the sky. Talk to people like you do online. If you're a troll, or you're an ass, or you're just cruel to people. You like fucking with their minds. You think that's fun. Exactly. Absolutely. It's not just them, though. It's not that just one little. I didn't even know. I assume who you're talking about, Lizard Tree, but I've been watching really big channels that are spewing just back and forth insanity that if you didn't know who they were, you'd just be like, who are these insane people and why are there so many people watching them? Oh, it's because they're just wildly insane. Interesting. Lizardry, life is short. Life is short. What have you achieved? What's good? Growling Arachnid, welcome on in. Challenging for love. Challenging for the idea that shitting on people is a terrible and lazy way to get attention. That it's not show. Put on a fucking show. I want to hear positive solution, but positive solution never fucking sells. So what sells is a little bit of concern, a little bit of flagellating a little bit of, and by the way, self-flagellating, it popped into my head because I just watched a whole series of this craziness on people who not only abuse the world because they believe that everybody should be experiencing pain to some point, sadist a little bit, but they believed it as a religion and they were doing it to themselves to start with. And then it transferred into this whole other thing where then you get Takamata. And suddenly millions of people die. Isn't that amazing how things just progress? Crazy? Fuck. Yeah, some just need to go sit in the shit house and get the entire experience. This is absolutely true. Some people never get their ass swiped. Some people never find out that skin in your knees really hurts and, or the pain. Some people like the pain. Oh, Growling Arachnid, why are you being called out? You're very welcome here. I always love seeing you. I'm being preachy this evening. I'm being preachy because I was watching a bunch of big channels and I've come out of this Aleister Crowley arc, dropping all that darkness too. Whew, a lot of darkness. Even reading the material, watching the videos, looking at, I'm telling you, that is inherently, whoa, that is inherently dark shit. I am all about the Abramelin. That is anti-Abramelin. He has a little bit of Abramelin and a lot of Baal. A lot of the demons. And accepting the Watchers. Wow. Hangs with you. It took a minute to just get out of it. And that's why I went to the Gateway right afterwards. Actually, it was very helpful because it's been, meditation-wise, it's been really good. But I'm also, it called to me in clarification, just to be frank with you, in a little bit of whatever, in my background. It came to me that I started seeing these really big channels come up in my feed. Maybe the algorithm is like trying to send me a message. Look at all these really big, terrible people. And by terrible people, I mean beyond fresh and fit. Well, no, less than fresh and fit because they were like 30 and 40,000, right? Yeah, we got you. You're always welcome here. Oh yeah, I appreciate you. All right. No, it's it took a little bit to come down from that. By the way, it really, especially if you knew like how I'm building the house as well. Someday I'll share with all of you the stupid things I've been doing over time. When you build your own house, you get to do a lot of things that you wouldn't otherwise. In any case, if someone would to sell you a runaround, it's just that. Look over there and not at me. If they're pulling a magic trick and it's not entertaining, what is it? If you're sending money to it, what is it then? So I have to wonder, why is it, and this is a question that I'm going to ask, and I know some of my own answers. Why is it, in fact, that these things, it's actually going wonderful. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. It's very close. I have walkways, I have a front patio, and I just finished the major steps, which is, that's a whole thing. I had enough of my caps that I've made for, I'm telling you, one of these days I'm going to do a whole building segment, because I've filmed a lot of this stuff, but I'm just going to need to be like, and I did this, and I did it, and I did it. Anyway. It's a lot. Anyways. Also going to copy, and let me type in, call in. Right, that's what it is. Oh, you know what I love is when I leave the all caps on and then I actually type correctly. There we go. Now I don't look like a fiend. There it is. Pin the message. If you have any commentary or anything to say, always welcoming anybody. Oh, I knew it was you. Nobody knows it's you. That maybe you need to have a June Beach channel and then stay gold. You could totally Man, I'm telling you, stay golden, pony boy. Stay golden. I love that. And it's even more shocking if you hop up at some point and then open your camera and you're like, ah! Someone could be totally talking smack. Anyways, I believe it's a psych game. Get you to feel a certain way, get you to hang in with somebody because you think that they're gonna change some arc or bring something. I'm sorry, Pops calls me Pony Boy. I'm sorry. Oh, stay golden, Pony Boy. Anyway, it's a con game in a lot of ways. Selling you the hope that things are going to change, that there's going to be an arc that's better in the future, that something isn't going to be just a rant about nonsense while playing a video game in front of you and not giving a damn about you. No, none of that is ever going to come true with that. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's my solution right there. If you can turn it off, that's never going to change. Now, if you need that in your life, okay. But please don't get your news from it. Get your news from news. Even if you think it's biased, it's still going to be news. They have money involved in production that's just for that. Please, please, please. The suspension of, and when you see my frustration, it's more about the suspension of disbelief as opposed to the suspension of belief that goes on here. It's a confusion by many because they've been inundated with such a wild upside down belief systems like bizarro world that don't actually work in the world, but you're starting to see it seep into the actual world where just a pounding of the chest. Hey, I'm right and I have enough sycophants who pat me on the back and say I'm right. Well, you know what? Terrible things happen when enough people go, yeah, I didn't want to think about it and they seem right. Yep, it's called the banality of evil. And it makes paper pushers push paper that often cases end up in the annihilation of massive amounts of people. And let me tell you, sometimes that banality, that getting used to just dehumanizing, is sold in little doses across many planes. And right now, we're seeing one of the greatest sets of disenfranchisement ever. Indoctrination of stupidity, and that's exactly what it is, Genevieve. The need to have the lower common denominator be the winner in all thought process. That if it isn't some kind of blatant, simple understanding that is just like common knowledge, and you can't say it with a monotone way, then it's not real. I didn't find it on Wikipedia. Yeah, well, you know, did you find it in 3 trustworthy sources? Can you then go to the library and actually find it somewhere there to quantify it in a book that existed before, 5 years ago? That's not saying all facts, because there's certain things like obviously particle physics and such constantly changing, adding to the information. Essentially, Lizardry, we are watching a brainwashing, a simplifying, and yes, just like 1984 or Idiocracy, a capitulation to guffaw is repeated throughout time. Actually, the witch hunt. And I don't know if you knew this, but there was even a vampire hunt here in the U.S. In New England, except vampires to them weren't what we think of vampires now, but it is where the term comes from. As a matter of fact, they blamed all manner of things, mostly illness, on vampires that were unseen, except for the fact that they would then go dig up the bodies of their relatives and blame, coagulation of blood in the heart or something. This is always like right after their death. They would always blame that on the corpse. It's a fascinating set of research that I was doing there. I didn't get to share it with you, but in any case, the witches were more interesting. Well, see, that's the thing, Lizard Treat. You and I might think that it's easy enough to say, open one's mind. see others as same. Live life and treat others as you would treat and have yourself treated. Don't step over them. But then there's a certain sect of people that see that as weakness instead of strength. Not understanding that the whole time you have to Heisman off all of those vicious predators. See, it is a privilege to see life in that fashion. One cannot minimize that. That is really important. If you don't see that expecting that life should be cooperation as a very modern concept, maybe you don't know how new that actually is. And it's so new that people here on the internet would even have you believe that things like equal rights, the need to cooperate between parties, the need to come to a equal understanding as same, similar, that is abhorrent to those who don't want to see some kind of imbalance go away because it goes against some kind of false placed belief system, one that robs them of having a better, happier, more cooperative, more appreciative kind of life where they actually treat each other well. Are we coming into a full moon? I have a car chewing on aluminum pans, biting holes in aluminum cans, getting into everything. Hey, Aaron, need another cat? No, thank you. Thank you. This one found me again. Went over to a friend's house, and all the kittens were hiding in the corners. And I'm sitting on the couch, and she just came right up to me, was like, all right, you're mine. And basically hung on to me till I left. And there you go. I left her for a couple more days and thought about it, by the way. It's a big deal, because I've got two other animals. I didn't really need a third. But I'm not gonna lie, she fits right in, and the others appreciate her, so. There's no medium with some of these people. Well, of course, because in the nuance of creativity, the many layers and multiple metaphors or allegory within great art is missed on the ludic. I'll say it simply. Goofy folks don't get complexity in art. They don't get platforms, qualities, or the options. And here's the next section of what I wanted to talk about. The call to authority. Who should that be even? Well, I'll tell you right away. If it's somebody you're looking to give you good advice, or at least tell you a perspective that may be a little more worldly than not, look to people who have done something. And just there's a close-up, I think. Hold on a second. Let me premeditate here. Ooh, what was that? Somebody died. Did they? I don't know. Anyhow. Try to make that faster, by the way, Jan. She's watching. It's true. There's very little medium with a lot of people, specifically here, because it seems like it's just simpler to take a polarized, fairly boring attitude of either you're the ultimate bad guy with everything as a bad take and you're just going to go over the edge and be extreme, or you're going to be some kind of valor-seeking schmuck. And that is a universal term, schmuck. Genderless. Oh, you know what? Did I pin it? Yeah, I pinned it. I pin it. Look, in the world outside, it takes a certain amount of capability, credibility, to reach certain levels or experiences and actually get shit done. It doesn't mean you're going to be the number one. It doesn't mean that you're going to be number 10. But it does mean that the those who actually get shit done have some kind of record of them doing it. You can follow along with their capability. You can follow along with their story. That means something. Now, if it's just sitting here in front of a camera and that's the only thing it is, and a bunch of people are watching, but and seriously, that's the only thing, and they're not even that interesting. You can find something on regular television or Netflix that's more interesting. I would ask you, what is really drawing anyone to that? Have they done anything? Do you go see their show? Are they doing art that's hung in a gallery? Oh, they changed some laws. No. They changed science, or they're accomplished in the back. No. Accomplishment.
Your patronage will not be forgotten. This person is the boss.
Labia back from, oh my God, speaking of which, Labia, holy shit, oh my God. Thank you so much, that is really awesome. I appreciate you very much. Oh, we come into it for like cat chewing on aluminum pans, biting holes in aluminum cans, getting into everything. No, thank you. No, I didn't read that in the whole of context until it went up on the screen. Thank you. What's the answer here? Seek out authority. People that actually have experience. Period. You want to know mine? I put together huge things for people. Concerts. I've assisted with festival layout. I've helped design massive party installs. I've done mixes for tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Probably about 100,000. Somewhere thereabouts. I did it for extended amounts of time. I lived in a tiny space with all of my colleagues where when you got on to your workday, you didn't leave your workday for 4 to 6 weeks. I have a different set of experiences. I saw the world. I got to do that instead of having a family, frankly. When most people would be having a family and going and getting another job they can drive to and drive home from, I was seeking to become, well, like any player in the NBA that maybe you don't know their name, but you know they're on a good team. I was always on an excellent team. And in my world, when I started, it wasn't just competitive. You had to prove that you had all the salt. More than just the salt. You had to sometimes fight for your positions and prove you deserve to be there. So when you stand and you stay for long periods of time, to the point where you realize you're done and it's maybe a younger man's game, which is true. So when you see the old guys out there, tell them to go home. Because truly, tell them to go home. Some of them get stuck out there. Nothing against them. And so some of the elders are needed, but if you knew the way it takes your life and you trade it, you'd understand that the accomplishment of going around the planet, probably about 12 times over 30 years. Literally, all the way around the planet. That means something. If you don't like it, that's cool. That's whatever. That's on you. But that's what I'm talking about. You can trust in me that when it comes to perception of the audience, when it comes to perception in general, or information you might not be privy to, or stuff about, how people perceive stuff, or it's the entirety of what I do. It's always been what I did. When it comes to performance, I've been involved with that since I was a kid. My grandmother's involved in that. When it comes to understanding antiquity or history or philosophy, this is the bread and butter of my life and family. At some point, I'll bring in my library. I realize that when you've only seen like President Sunday's library, it's just that 2 section. I'd like to see more of his library, see if it fills more than that, because mine definitely does. It's an entire room. I spent my entire teenage years and my early 20s reading all of it. nothing that didn't get read. It was all my grandfather's. I wanted to know what he knew. And some of it was very dry and stupid. And when I say stupid, I mean like, oh my God, why am I reading this book on business ethics of the 1950s? Holy mackerel. Fluzzy B, what's happening? Good evening. Good to see you. Yeah, Stream Elements is actually working on one side, and the other side, it seems like when I turned the, a bunch of alerts went off early on, and maybe it's working now. Because it was saying it was having a problem when it first came out. Anyway, I appreciate any patronage. It is really awesome that anybody does that at all, and it means a lot to me. I will end up taking that and buying a new piece of tech or making the show better. I'm actually, I'm gonna start a Patreon soon. It looks like, I just wanted to let everybody know that I actually got the information, strangely enough, and I don't know. I'm surprised that they did this because I already was monetized, and then they took it away from me because I wasn't actually on YouTube anymore. And I was monetized with 64 subs. So one of the reasons I think they took my complaint pretty straight ahead is the fact that I was already monetized. I didn't have even 100 subs, guys. And they were gonna make me go to 1,000. And I got the news the other day that they will allow me to get by with 500 subs, and then I can get memberships, and I have some good ideas and some interesting things to do with memberships, as well as individual streams by request and all sorts of, not for an individual, but like topical streams, that kind of thing. But I'm looking at options, and I'm very faithful to that stuff. And by the way, it's coming up to the time where, like, once that actually happens, I'll be back onto my regular schedule. Don't worry. Because I'm taking this seriously now. And that's one of the reasons why I've been less consistent in the past couple weeks, is finish off other things and then really come up with some good ideas coming out of the holidays. In any case, that said, I seek to spread love. I seek to not waste time with those who would follow and chase a windmill simply to make it so that everybody knows that they're going to fight that windmill. I don't need to fight the windmill. I've fought giants already. I've opened the doorway for them afterwards, after we both cleaned off our bruises and shook hands and sat together, and in some cases worked alongside. If one doesn't see others as similar, if one sees oneself as supreme or better than, that is generally the reason why you would figure that somebody else is not going to be honest with you. Or one doesn't trust the self, and so they don't believe that anybody else could have more experience than them, and thereby projecting out that maybe that only the amount of experience that they have could ever apply to anybody who's in the same space, which I can tell you that is not going to be fucking true. And especially come around me, I might confound you with a lot of the stuff I might tell you or show you, and I can guarantee you I don't believe things very easily. It really takes some evidence, and then I'll go look at it, and then I'll look at it, and then I'll look at it. I measure twice, cut once in most cases, unless I don't give a damn, and then I'll just cut it. And if I don't give a damn, I'll just cut it. But that's beside the point. What am I talking about? Talking about buying into a... Hello, Song Wang. Welcome back. It's good to see you. Buying into rhetoric. Buying into a sales device of pain. Buying into a call to authority when there is none. And it's real simple to ask yourself the questions of biasing. First and foremost, what does the person say about themselves? Does it match the actual persona? Now, you know I'm playing a character. And I do that to make myself not only complex, but to make interesting choices and to keep this so that I am constantly evolving into a state that makes me more interesting, frankly, more entertaining. Because that's what this is. It's entertainment. Don't get it confused with some kind of. I'm not a church. I had a ministry for a while there. I think it's got its point across. I might revise it after the new year, bring it back. We shall see. It was fun. I want a band. I want to be able to actually preach across a band. Unfortunately, I have a feeling that my great organist friend is probably going back out this year. Oh, to be a musician. If I had been a musician instead of a tech. It would be a little different, because definitely life for the musicians is not the same as the life of the tech. And by tech, I mean anybody in production. That's everybody. Whether you're the guy in the office or the guy out front, you're on your feet from the moment you get off the bus in the morning and unload the truck and trailer. Until you pack it up again at the end of the night, take a shower, grab an after-show snack, climb in your bunk, maybe watch a movie, but most likely climb in your bunk and crash out. Wake up and do it again the next day. In any case, the call to authority seems to be answered by the worst possible, lowest common denominator right now. Whether it be someone telling you that the other gender can't experience love for whatever they may rationalize it as, or someone telling you that this type of person is exactly this and they will only be that because that's the background they come from and that's what they know, that is all just a lot of bullshit. If you find people arguing with each other and throwing mud at one another, they're playing with each other even if they will never, ever admit it. Why? Because they're actually going back and forth. And you know what the easiest way to get it back and forth to end? Stop. Not taking any part. Not do shit. Just be like, all right, you show your ass. You want to keep on? You look like the obsessed person. Especially if it's not that important. If it's something that's really silly. Which is what it is. A lot of this is BS. And the happiness, the actual intent to like sell you something positive for yourself, sounds more culty, more strange to people who expect people to lie to them. They want to be lied to, I think, in some cases. Fuck that. From my point of view, fuck that. Excuse my language, but fuck that. Say it 3 times in a row. Well, hopefully they won't like, you'll never get monetized that way. They want you in fear because it gives some schmo power. What kind of power? Power of your trust. That's how con men get a hold of you. Why? Because con means confidence. Which is why I will always say, feel free to support the channel in any way you feel like. I still need to fix the food thing, but I apologize by that. But the point being is I give options of that, personally. And I also, I want you to feel a reward out of it, because I feel like otherwise, if you're not getting to take a piece of art home with you, you get to buy a piece of, I can't wait for the merch. Oh, I can't wait to do merch. I love merch. I do well at merch. I've designed a lot of people's merch. A lot of people, a lot of merch. Anyways, it's funny. I wonder if I'll be able to do, I definitely will have to do a flying pig for certain. Anyways, point being is I want you to feel like you get something out of it, that you're not just throwing it into a well. And I see that amongst other people. I see somebody selling a $50 paperback. You know what I mean? A $50 paperback. That's $19.95, $23.95 at the airport. Swear to goodness, I know that. Trust me. Tom Clancy. It was amazing when I stopped seeing his name in the airport. Jesus Christ, 20 years I said the man's name at the airport. Don't know what he looks like. Anyways. Don't buy the bridge. It's not for sale. Oh, the Cinchi tinfoil hat. Oh my God, great memory. You know who sells? Yeah, he sells something really funny. Is the Y-File sells the fish, the goldfish, sidekick, and he's got a little tinfoil hat on. I think it's a plushie. It's amazing. Anyway. I should definitely sell an AronMSound tinfoil hat. Guaranteed. Yes. Have a shirt that says your uncle wants to scream at you. Something like that. Yeah, I'll come up with a bunch of stupid ones. Well, I'll do limited series. That's my favorite thing to do, by the way, is limited series stuff where it's like buy 50 of them and then that's it. They're gone. No one else will have them. That's a big deal. Anyways, makes a t-shirt valuable. No, I'll come up with some other things. You know, I'm also an artist, too, so I'll come up with stuff. In any case, when you trust in people that want you to trust them, but they can't reciprocate with any kind of mutual respect, meaning that in the course of the dialectic, the conversation, as the antithesis and the thesis meet, they don't understand that if they like you, if they trust you, if they believe you, they give you the benefit of the doubt. Not just the benefit of the doubt, but the ability to have your perception and for them to get something out of it, or that they intend, which is, by the way, the difference between an actual genuine interest in having a discussion or debate and one which is disingenuous. The disingenuous never expects to actually come to any synthesis, whereas the genuine interest in discourse or the dialectic looks to learn something new and gain some new enlightenment within the conversation, or maybe take the conversation somewhere else it wasn't meant to go. That's what actual debate is meant for, by the way. Not this argumentative, contrarian, diatribe-ridden, ad hominem laced, red herring practiced, deflection, dump, personal proclivity projected, exceptionalist info interjected, interpolated, and then extrapolated worst case scenario, taking advantage of limited reasoning with ulterior motive and multiple agenda bullshit, Twitch poll, goddamn fake debate, just plain old stupid people arguing about shit they only half understand but have religious beliefs they don't want to fucking admit are the reason that they're there on the goddamn panel to begin with. That stuff. Let me put a pin in this. If you're interested in that, cool, but that's not debate. Debate has more than the guy who's loudest being the winner. In fact, the guy who's loudest tends to lose. Forget about the whole, if you're just monotone. That doesn't mean anything. Did you say something that moved the crowd? Did you say something that actually made everybody learn something new, that took the idea somewhere else? Did you interject something that nobody knew? Did you move the whole panel? That's a win, if there is such a thing. And there's a point systems within real debate. If you didn't know that, then you don't know anything about debate. Go look it up. National Forensic League. There's a lot of great kids in your neighborhood that could probably teach you everything as an adult about that. And if you weren't involved in it in junior high, well, you're probably one of them nerds who thought they were cool by not being a part of the coolest shit. Being smart. Figuring out the world around you. Challenging fucking authority. Questioning authority. Questioning the world around you, and then researching and looking into it and reading about it and spending your life sharing that and finding friends. Finding friends! Can you imagine that practice? Finding friends! Now, mind you, I understand COVID fucked the world up, But then you have a responsibility to come the fuck out of that. And if you aren't doing that, if you're buying into that bullshit and you're still in that drag, and you think the world is going to come to an end, well, guess what? It's not, and you're going to be let down when it doesn't. You'll be on your house waiting for the flood, and everybody will be looking at you, wondering why the hell you're on top of your house. Get the fuck down off of there. Come on down, touch some grass, meet some people, and find that everybody wants to share with you. Not because it's something they can get out of you. It's not because they can trade off something like information or take advantage of you or dox you or some shit like that. Get out of that environment. If that's what you're in and you're enjoying that, you're a seething lowlife just like that person. Period. It's easy enough to extract yourself from an environment that is as simple as a button. I know this is hard to hear. I told you that this would piss some people off. But if it's you sitting there in that environment, imbibing it, and it's not anthropological observation, you're taking part. You are taking part. Doesn't matter where you put yourself. Yes, lizard tree. And I used to say this quite often, but associations matter. Practicing and being confident in what you actually fucking know. Genevieve, yes, 100%. The ability to do extrapolating, I'm sorry. The ability to do off-the-cuff speaking and debate. And I should know the term because I used to win this all the time. It's extraneous? No, it's I'm gonna have to go get the awards out and look at them. Anyways, there's a form of debate where you're given a set of cards and you're asked to choose a set of topics from those cards. And you have 5 to 10 minutes, in some cases half an hour to 45 minutes, to research and do everything you can to find out everything about your topic and figure out what the other competitor might be talking about. And that means you got to do your research, and you also got to figure out the intelligence of, hey man, so what'd you get? And see what they're looking at. Whether or not they'll share that with you. That's a thing. In any case, real debate is exactly that. It's researching, experiencing, practicing, and being confident in what you actually fucking know. Otherwise, you have no position. You can't set a premise. You can't give a series of examples. You can't then follow up with a sales or a thesis. And then summarize it without throwing an ad hominem or deflection or red herring. As a matter of fact, one of the most amazing things that I've found now is that somehow when you ask a question to a question, there is a very odd idea that that's actually deflection. When, in actuality, in real debate, you generally open as a response with your own question, whether it be of the summary or to lead to a broader answer that may be more complex than just simple one line, like some Ladidic or simple minds might like everything to be. Or, one of the things I've found that's very interesting is that debate nowadays tends to be, especially the simple moderation styles that I've seen, where it's like, if I want to get involved, I'll get involved, but I won't gonna get involved because I want to hear you just argue. When I see that, it reminds me that normally you can't get away with that shit. Because a point has to be made. You have to move the dial. You have to know what you're saying. You have to have the summary. You have to have the examples. You have to have the premise. And you can't use deflection or defamation or a whole set of rules. It's the exact opposite of everything seen on the Twitch poll. And I don't even know where that comes from. even in the modern day debates, that bullshit is exactly what you saw. And it'll have a whole group of people applauding a moron who came up and said some rhetoric, hyperbole, straight out the bat, hyperbole rhetoric as the argument and premise that meant nothing to do with the actual topic. It was so far off topic, it was like, what? Are you a fucking insane person? Oh yeah, no, that person obviously has some kind of instability because they didn't connect. And then it's because their whole crowd going, yes, we all believe the same belief, so you're right, yes. No, running away, saying some crazy shit and running away. Unless it's something like quipping, which this person wasn't. They were debating an actual debater, like a very high-level debater. And this moron comes in, makes some real off-the-cuff quip that's not, it's rhetoric. It's literal rhetoric of a religious base, no less. The debate groupies, true. And being humble enough to admit when one cannot relate to a specific topic, and you are willing to walk away with enough humility and humiliation to accept the constructive criticism and not the criticism alone. Yes, constructive criticism, and to see these things as constructive, and to take the things that are important out of them and to not take them too close to heart, and then be able to balance it out and take the right things to heart. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. That having being humble to learn. Having been humble enough to learn across a lifespan and not just ignore because you pound your chest, because that's just gonna, you know what that's like? That's like running down the highway looking at your camera, expecting that you're not gonna run off the road. Look at me, I'm so awesome. I'm the one. That's Chad Chatterton bullshit. Humility is key. Yeah, you gotta know that you're gonna fuck up. And not wanting to do a drive-by after you lose. Yes. Because the other thing to remember is that this right here, when you're looking at the screen, it's a show. Whoever it is on the other side, they're putting on a show. And if they don't know they're putting on a show and they think it's real, it's time to call somebody, or in mass, let the powers that be know that there's someone with instability online. When they're turning things into real problematic situations, or creating false cliques, tribes, environments that don't actually exist, because this is YouTube. This is essentially a public space. It's technically even owned. It's on the back of the U.S. government's transmission, because it's covered by FCC. So, you know, amongst the other overseas, you know, European, African, Asian, Eastern European. There's a whole bunch of different organizations that take part, but the US FCC does. So this isn't some kind of private bullshit, although, yeah, Alphabet owns it. It's not some private club. Yeah, we have memberships. That's for patronage. That's to keep the show going. That's not to buy into some fucking space. Although in some cases, you know, I am a fan of people buying, on something. I'm never going to place this, but I am, like, on other people's channel, I am a fan of, like, there's a couple people who are like, you want a fucking mod? You gotta buy that shit. Because it means you're really interested. Oh, okay. And if you misuse it, they'll just take it away from you forever, you know. I'm never gonna do that, by the way. I have different rules because you guys are in the chat, so. And yeah, it's just that it's a different modality, different thing. Point being is that I'd rather be paid for the creativity, acting like it's a ticket, because that's what it is. These memberships, these whatever it is that we're here for, when you do start actually earning any income from that, it is an exchange, like the ticket at the door. It is an exchange of your belief in that. It is an exchange and a buy-in. So when you start sending money to those who are just literally throwing vitriol at others, or being hateful or mean or cruel, you are paying to take part in that. Which is wild. Because when you start to see some of these very large channels doing terrible things, upsetting people's lives, changing them irrevocably from a TV show. 20 years ago, that would have been unheard of. 10 years ago, we would have said, rare, weird. Now, it's everywhere. It's everything. It seems to be the most popular thing. There's only 7 people watching me, but I can assure you there's 1,400 people watching somebody telling you that one gender is incapable of love right now. Or that there's a group of people defending either side of that, but none of them really defending it well. In fact, a lot of it is just talking around. One of the things I found most astonishing is that the nonsense people speak about. Yep. And I think it's healthy because it is, Lizardtree, stop thinking that we owe someone an apology for being ignorant when you point out both the stupidity and the ignorance of others. True. We don't have to apologize for our positions. That's another thing. I won't ever, I do apologize when I make a mistake. That's what's important. But apologizing for our position alone, that's capitulation to overwhelming groupthink. Being careful who we support. It's true. But we can only learn through time. Oftentimes, we want to support somebody. They seem to be on the right path, and I can tell you this. It's most of the time the non-creative folks or the folks who have limited experience with creativity or have no willingness to hear the mentors with more experience or to hear or look for that experience and no call to authority who will end up going down the route of, egotism and ego annihilation. And that is one of the things that was amazing in the discoveries and the learning experiences I've been going through both in the Gateway and also coming out of the Aleister Crowley reading. You see, if I hadn't already killed and had my ego death multiple times already, both up and down, and had great heights of experiences, I don't think I would have come out so quickly from the other side of the Aleister Crowley directly into the Gateway experience program where I now feel like I'm at a good solid level or focus 5, right? What does that really mean? It sounds very Scientology. No. Meditation level. That's where I'm at where I feel comfortable at, where I'm getting the imagery and it's clear, and I'm getting the experiences that are expected from focus 5. And it says take your time. And although I do feel like I could leap, the process does say, the Gateway process, if you remember, the Gateway process says take your time. Take your time. Patience. And I think patience is what's lacking in a lot of people. I think people think that nowadays everything is instantaneous, that it's all reward only. And yet the reward most of the time is in the pains, the virtue of the pains, the valor of the learning, the growth that comes from the hurt in the muscles as you grow, in the muscle of the brain and the heart. And by the way, it turns out our heart and our stomach both has enough connection, in fact, a massive amount of connection to our nervous system, that they both have a set of memory cells, not unlike what's in our brain. And they share some certain collective memory. So when you have a gut feeling, that's because your gut is giving you actual information that it shared. I was looking it up. I double checked it. I triple checked it. That's some crazy shit, but it's true. Experience is the best teacher. Absolutely. Skinning your knees and knowing how to avoid skinning your knees. And sometimes it takes a lot of time. Sometimes there's things you could never expected. I can tell you this, the longer I go, the more shit I get into, the more shit I get into. And oftentimes, it doesn't matter how smart you are or how many ways you think you're looking, something might come out of thin air. Or sometimes you uncover shit just as you expected you would. Now, I have been fairly nebulous. I don't name names. I don't put out, because if you're following what's going on with me, you will just clearly know. But these other channels, the bigger channels, I'm not even going to give them any energy. They have enough of their own. This is just a dire call to those of you who do understand that we're not limited by the world of drama. That there's more here on YouTube. There's incredible amounts of great information. How to build things. I'm constantly using it, building my house. There's a whole mass of history. Just about anything you want to find is out here. Genevieve, you did. You received a reward for great wisdom and patience. That's amazing. That's a very great honor. Yeah, that's really neat. Oh, then you hit menopause. Dun, 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 dun.
Hardcore.
By the way, you realize that there's a whole sector of the internet that believes that menopause starts at 35 or something insane. But no, that'd be no. That's an no. We're talking like mid 50s, sometimes later, sometimes earlier, but that's early onset, and that's not usual. And that really comes from, once again, a whole set of religiously rooted beliefs. And I would say a lot of it is just wives' tale stuff added into a little bit of science that allows for a limited skew of what they want to accept about that. Because I've had discussions recently with people that suggest, and listen to people discuss things as if they were scientific, but really, like, I heard someone say, oh, let me let you hear the science, and then they put a preacher on. Well, he's got a doctorate. Yeah, that's in theology. And it doesn't apply across. And you know what really bothers me about that? But we'll get to micro. What gets to micro is the fact that because of the cadence, because of the language practices, calling to a certain group of people who have maybe grown up with this cadence and this sound of the lilting waves, that this reminisces, or that this brings a credence, a credibility that otherwise would not be given to words that mean nothing. A circular set of phrasing that really ends up meaning nothing, while saying you're talking science. It was amazing to hear. Well, you know, in the philosophy, these other people have no capability because it is inherent in what is known. And since the beginning of time, you only see... Stop. They're not gonna, because it plays into a bunch of people's intention and actually what's at the root of them. And that's the other portion that I really want everybody to take with them this evening. If you're sitting there watching all of this hate of self, hate of others, anti-love talk, look at the others, look at all the terrible things they do. Yeah. Are you actually doing something, or are you just glorifying it? I'll tell you what, I'm getting ready to do a whole bunch of things. Whole bunch of things. I won't talk about a lot of it here. If you're going to see it here, you're going to see it here. If not, trust, you won't know. You don't have to know. If it's real, I take it to the right places. And I do it when you're not looking, because I don't need you to look. I need you to learn. And I'm not very tolerant of fools, liars, cheats, those who would undermine the will of others or the best interests for themselves. No, see, when you try to enact pain on someone like me, a giant bully killer, you're asking for me to plot out a course. It's part of the reason why I'm still here. Oh, thank you, Lizard Tree. I appreciate you. I love seeing you here. By the way, Lizard Tree. It makes me feel good. This is just a warning that I stand up for what is good in others. And I won't sit here and ramble on about it other than just say, look, ignore those who will sell you a ball of wax. If they need to get handled, trust me, someone like me is going to come along and make sure they get handled, whether they realize it or not. And all the facets of it, because someone like me is actually capable and really truly does, in real life, when I work, this is what I do. I get called to fix nowadays. And this is one of the greatest things. If you ever get an email from me, you'll see it says, Executive of Creative. That's what I do. I'm an executive of creative design. I'm an executive of creative experience. I'm a executive of creative scenarios. What's up, Robs? How you feeling? Acrid, you must be what, baby? Or are you what, you just non-aged? Or are you just an idiot ageist? Hi, what's going on, Acrid? And you're Acrid, so really? You notice everybody's got a mind. Play nice. You're a teen. Oh, you're not allowed here. Yeah, you'll find out that our experiences do make us, good or bad. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. Bridget, if you wouldn't mind, they're underage. Bridget Moden is still one of our main mods, by the way. And rare moment of where I guess I will check the ID at the door. Sorry, buddy. Come back when you're above, I think it's 18 at least. I cannot add you as... Oh, thanks, Rob. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure which one to actually go for. I'm like, do I delete? How do I time them out? I never do that stuff. I never know. Thank you, Lizard Tree. I appreciate that. Yeah, unfortunately, the youngsters don't belong here. Yeah, there's a lot of problems with that, too, here. It's influencing people's belief systems. It's influencing the way they feel. It affects your mind when you're here for too long. And I mean here is in between Discord and elsewhere, when you're not building actual connections with people that actually care about you. That's what I'm concerned about. And those are the battles I'm willing to wage. And those are the battles. I'm not going to fight with people over petty bullshit. You want to believe somebody who's just a lie and look for other things? That's on your character. That's on you. That says everything about you. You want to search down a dark hallway for something that doesn't exist while screaming that it does and running a whole bunch of people with torches? That's called a witch hunt. You want to make believe that there's some walls to this environment called YouTube instead of understanding it's a server passing a video? Oh, no. Sorry. Hold on a second. Yeah, the heart is in a weird place, right? Like it's on my, like, hold on a second. Yeah. At least in mine too, like it's in a place where it's like, I can't get access to why doesn't it, please, someone, anyway. Yeah, I'm not willing to get into a petty fight over some petty bullshit. It really has nothing to do with anything. You want to talk to me about the existence of the absolute? It's just pretty profound. You want to talk about the better things to do with life? Oh yeah, no, the lizard tree is like, shake it about! Pew, pew! Yeah, she knows, she's like, hey, that's the warning. I mean, like, you walk into a bar, everybody's everybody's armed. You know. Yeah, true. That's crazy. Boot is the kid. Sorry, kid, you don't have the right ID. You need to go. Lizard Tree. Holy shit, who's Lizard Tree? You'll find out. So yeah, if anybody has any feelings on any of this, feel free to hop up. The chat is up above. Here's, once again, I'm not interested in petty drama. I'm interested in, if it's gonna be drama, I wanna know about life and death. I wanna know about experience. I wanna know about something that changes us, that is transformative. I wanna know about what makes us better. I wanna know more. I don't wanna be limited to some cadence selling line of bullshit. And I don't want you to have that experience either if I can, well, get you to not be interested in it. Now, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't. I'm not going to say you can't go there. I'm not going to say that yeah, you're stupid for being... No, because everybody wants a little tantalizing titillation. Everybody loves it. I got a couple of them I love watching too. But here, that's not what I do. And it may be counterintuitive to actually having a positive or a bigger stream, or yes, you're back and welcome, Songwang. But as I've always said, it's really about the individuals carrying out the message further. And let me also say this. If you believe in your heart of hearts that the genders, however you see the genders, are limited, that they can't be loved for love's sake, that people can't share 50-50, that people can't live out their love in the way that they see fit, meaning whichever way that is, what do you expect of the universe? What do you expect of life? Do you expect a minimization of all of the possibility and plausibility? Because you're going to be let down. You're going to be going against the grain, and no matter what you point to culturally, religiously, what somebody said in a book, or it doesn't fucking matter, because that's what life is presenting. And if you don't like it, if you're having an issue with it, that's a you problem that needs to be solved, because you're going to have consternation the rest of your life, worrying about something that can't be changed, that is part of the beauty of the individuality and the constant perturbation of possibility and plausibility in every single set of platitudes within our reality. Don't miss out on the fucking joy. For real, don't miss out on it. Because that's what the majority of negative is trying to sell you. And you know what that is? That's darkness. That's darkness selling you a line of bullshit so you avoid life and its beauty and appreciating everything around you and questioning people you should trust and then trusting people you should question. That's the most common fucking trait of the dark in itself. Convincing you that righteousness has a lack of humility. Because if righteousness never loses, is it righteous at all? Righteousness is learned. Righteousness is not exceptional. Righteousness is commonality. Righteousness isn't even really a thing if you think about the larger parameters of the universe. There's too much chaos. It's going well, Songwang. Genevieve says she has a lot of time invested in a wide variety of interesting people. When she goes into chats, most of the times they have to have a fun method of expression and to observe. True. Yeah, that me as well. I like to quip and have fun and say irreverent things. Because otherwise, a lot of chats seem to be a place where people who really should be expressing themselves in some positive way instead end up expressing themselves as the clan or mob that seeks to burn the witch at the stake, not because they know that the witch actually is a witch, but rather they may have been shown or told information or shown things that fit what they want to see. And not unlike the witch trials at Salem, where the girls who were quote-unquote afflicted all stood up and would have experiences while the quote-unquote witch tests were being given. Conveniently so. But also, it was missed until a long time later that all of those girls who had the afflictions all profited by not having to do their general chores they were paid attention to by their fathers, unlike they were normally. They were given preferential treatment. They were allowed to miss school. And they were held in a small group of revered, protected people. They felt they had power. And we know now that there may have been some commiseration, cooperation between them. Yeah. Just so they could take the days off. So they didn't have to do their chores. People got burned at the stake. Yeah, true. Someone hold a wrench and need to get spanked, Bridget. Yeah, true. They are surrounded. I always wonder, like, you really? You look great. Okay. That's why I haven't given, at some point I do need to give Dank a wrench. She has always been fine here. And I've seen what Dank has said elsewhere, and I don't agree with it. So I hesitate to get him a wrench. I'll leave that, guys, up to you. So the next time I see Dank, actually, by the way, we'll vote about it. But you saw earlier, somebody came in and was like, why is Dank in hell? And that kind of cliquism is the diminishment of the greatness of the human spirit and mind. The capability that we all have to recognize that we are as one at the beginning, as we are now, as we will be at the end. That the only thing in life that is more dangerous than another human is life itself, because life will kill you, by the way. It takes us all in the end. And the next thing to that is some dumbass human. But you know what steals most people's lives? Being convinced by some terrible ideas that seem so enticing at the time. But in retrospect, they might be hurting a whole group of people or pitting each other against each other, when most of the time we have more in common always, especially when we're mirrored. We don't like each other, but we actually are each other. No matter what, we are each other. We are everything. Everything. Everything is everything, man. Yeah, everything is everything. The absolute. That's a fact. Whether you like it or not. I don't pretend to know a lot, but I can tell you this. A lifetime of reading, searching out grimoire, knocking on doors and asking for acceptance, being allowed, having to disavow normalcy, taking oaths to protect and prepare and tell the truth. These are things, my friends, that I don't take lightly. And I won't see the degradation of larger man's belief in himself, humankind's will and strength to believe in a greater sense of art, to enlighten and bring us all to somewhere else. I will not let the degradation of our connection happen because some would try to convince others that there's nothing, when in fact the only thing there really is a thing, and we are all of it. You can call it whatever you want. This petty bullshit is nothing other than that, and it really comes down to a sense of, do you want to play the petty game? Or do you want to take part in enjoying this unbelievable, unrealistic, yet so palpably real because we make it so, experience, the sentience gift? Bridget, are you getting spanked? Oh, lizard tree. I actually, yeah. I can imagine lizard tree goes into some environment, especially his labia. Getting spanked. It happens. I as well. Some channels I try to. That's because I challenge, you know, people don't like challenge. That's what this channel is really about. It's a challenge really to the mundane and the status quo that has taken over. That comes from Twitch. That isn't this environment. It may be others, but even Twitch isn't that way. But I will tell you this: it doesn't matter. If you don't know, this is show and entertaining. Even if I'm preaching about something important, even if I'm being philosophical, even if I've got the call in and we have a conversation about something real, it still should be entertainment and not to take advantage or to hype something that shows pain as a virtue. Spanking can be tough love. And sometimes can be warranted. But it should always be had with reason. And I've been seeing that people's reason is definitely less than stellar in my opinion. Much less the fact that it tends to be knee-jerk. Or seeking to create the drama. Seeking to create a situation that then what the uncreative would call content and not show or entertainment. Seeking to create content. So here's how you're going to know from now on. And this is the one major message I'm going to send out tonight. If somebody doesn't tell you that they're doing a show and they call their subscribers, their viewers, anything other than viewers or subscribers, they call them followers, or they call them, you know, part of my environment or my... what's the word that's been very popular around this? Community. These are the code words of letting you know that somebody is trying to amass a group or power, take advantage of people, or create a cult. There are no walls here. There is no community. There are no homes. This is just show. Except for when some of the people on the other side of the camera don't realize they're putting on a show and confuse it for their real life and the interaction, or it would take advantage of it and exploit that and exploit their audience's confusion over whether or not it's real. Now, in my case, I play an over-exaggerated version of an over-exaggerated concept of me. And I hope you can tell that. Anybody who's talking to me on the phone realizes it real fucking quick. And that's everybody. And some would say that you can or cannot talk to this or that or be somewhere, and what the fuck is exactly right? You're talking to other adults on a platform where you've never seen any of them, and you're parasocially giving that direction as if you have some authority over the situation. Not unlike how, at one point, somebody came onto my channel while I was doing the Healthy Streamer show, and it said, it invited one specific person up, and, even though I was welcoming other people up, it should have had a message of like, oh yeah, take your shoes off. Because your name isn't on the banner, but I'm still welcoming you, so you should probably be on your best behavior. Nah, that won't stop a person. You can always tell the character of a person by how they're willing to believe others are dark or evil to make, or to take advantage of, a situation that might work for their favor, much less the fact they would take advantage of that situation for multiple days without contacting somebody. Anyways, I still think that's very funny. It says more about the character of everybody who would involve themselves in a situation that want to make enemies out of anyone, that seek to exploit that situation as some kind of show instead of recognizing that that's not show. That's a witch hunt. That's trial. Nobody here has that authority, especially not somebody who has no experience or very limited ones. And they aren't pertaining to the environment they're in, and they're not creative, and they're nothing but exploitive. It's weird. YouTube is not real, true. They've been screen shooting you, and oh yeah, of course, Lizard Tree. Of course. It's called, oops, excuse me, the producer was trying to change scenes. It's called being obsessed in an unhealthy way. It's why I left the healthy streamer panel up and then it never happened. That's the joke. I had to tell the joke because nobody's gonna fucking get it. Because that's how disassociated people are here. Things that would, for the majority, people would get. Because the majority of the people on the planet, thankfully, are not the 200 million stuck on this environment. But those 200 million people could fuck up the whole planet. For real. Why? Because all it takes is a little pin drop in the very delicate balloon of life. And then every freak shows up. And let me tell you something. One, we've seen just recently how an extremist can take one gun and hurt a whole bunch of people. Wipe out lives and futures. We've seen time and time again how somebody... Oh, what are you eating? Oh, okay. She's just sniffing and stuff. That's Ruby, everybody. How one person with a bad idea that they got off the internet from somebody else who had a bad idea, a bad take, who couldn't even speak the language in universal terms and ask what definition somebody is using. When there's a book for that, it's called the goddamn dictionary. Acting like that thing doesn't exist, and they're reinventing the wheel by making up their own meanings for words. We're literally looking at the dumbing down of not just discourse, but the disrespect of other intellectual sets of thought, much less how philosophy works or science or anything. We are. She's gotten into carrying around paper, by the way. I think this is hilarious. I don't know why she does this, but it's hilarious. I need to get her to start filing, by the way. And now they are doxing and reporting me to YouTube, are they? How? For what? Oh, that would be a mistake. I do too. Homer is just absolutely enthralled with her, by the way. Oh, yeah. No, they definitely, they are... These folks are always... oh, yeah, they want to control your visit. The multiple they... Yeah, the bad players, their response to things, it's just like it would be in the playground. They want to poke and they want to jab, but when actually they run into somebody like me, they want to cry very badly because I don't like spend a lot of time on this stuff. I wait and then I take care of business. And when I do that, it tends to have a lasting impact. Why? Because I'm never going to fuck around with you. People that fuck around with you and spend a lot of time in nasty things really don't understand how battle works. If you're going to go to battle, you have to keep moving. You have to keep taking lines, and then you leave defense for that. Oh no, Fuzzy Bee, I hope your laptop's okay. That sucks. Yeah, underestimating people because, well, they don't or aren't understood. And then trying to hurt people because you don't like what they say. That's fascism. That's an attempt. It's just like, stopping people from going someplace else to chat. First off, let's just talk about the lack of respect for others. That's number one. That's just an assumed place of everybody's conversation. Nobody else has any actual knowledge in it. No, of course, I expect that everybody does. Everybody brings something to the table. You've heard me say, special is normal, normal is special. And that's real. I will always say that. Because that is real. Everybody knows some little special thing. But when you have little to no respect for others, simply for the facet of showing how important you are, that's just ego. Yeah, maybe it needs a new fan, or maybe its fan system is messed up. That sucks. Had to keep it on an ice pack. Oh my gosh. Oh no, be careful. Yeah, don't leave it on overnight, that's for sure. Holy smack. Be careful. Anyhow, love wins out, by the way, long term. And most people seem to buy into what is convenient nowadays, at least in the West. Although there is still a majority of moderate, centrist, middle ground. And by the way, people who think centrist is some kind of like terrible thing, you just a good people pleaser. No, actually, if it pisses everybody else off, that's not people pleasing at all. That's actually being individual, which I think is funny. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean you're pleasing somebody else. I mean, like, if you're not being pleased, then clearly that's not being people pleaser. That's right. I thought that was funny. Somebody who said that about me. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I want to please the people I love, but when it comes to randos, Marlon Rando, I can't give a good goddamn what you think about me. I'm here on a show expressing my thoughts, my feelings, willing to share, talk about, but truly at the end of the day, if you think this is me, and you know everything about me from what you're watching here, you're a fucking moron. I love everybody watching me, truly. But if you don't know that I am so complex and I am an experienced SAG-AFTRA carrying actor, as well as a production manager and a master of show of all different nature, and you'd assume one thing to the next, well, you might be confused. Just like how if you were to feel like there's more than just the show and the chat, like there's some kind of community because you take it offline and you bring it into Discord or something like that, where you're forcing to make a community where there is none otherwise, other than the support for a show, which is all it should be. Just like music, you know, you go to the show and you let people go. You don't hold them there because that's the environment. Why? Because then that becomes church or a cult or a clique or more than just becomes a club or some kind of organization as opposed to just a fucking show you watch. So, let me give you a little quick answer solution for anybody that would suggest you can't watch what you want to watch, be where you want to be. Because, by the way, you can. And if you're in chat, you may get timed out by some schmucks. Excuse me, little one. She's trying to cross over oh, okay. Let me get the wider spot. You can see the cats too. So if anybody's going to tell you that, let me give you these few fine words to use when they do use that negative intention towards you to say, you shouldn't be here. And why is that person here? Number one, oh, hey, fuck you. Suck a dick. 2, grow up. Can be anywhere. 3, just watching a show. What the hell are you doing? Cult weirdo? 4, wow, you really sound like a moronic idiot without much of a life that you think that this is some kind, what is this to you? Embarrass them. And then 5, do you need a friend? Because if this is where you get your friends from, I'm concerned about you. It's a chat. You don't know these people. Yeah, and I leave the chat If they don't want me there, I'll watch a show. If I'm in chat, I'm probably challenging the ideas, or I'm probably taking part. I'm not sitting there chitter-chattering. And I mean, honestly, I look, to each their own. Obviously, to each their own. But if literally that's what you need, please, I urge you to seek a better environment, because this is not it. Especially because most of the places where those people are taking part deeply are just there to be patted on the back and seeking valor for negative attention. Oh, I'm sorry. The producer had to chime in there. Clearly, good job. That was good timing. Should have never let her play with the iPad in the first place. It's my bad. Here's my point. Despots and totalitarian regimes, the regimes who have committed the greatest atrocities on the earth, they would sell you into idiocy so that they could create a greater atrocity, whatever that be. And it may just be a social atrocity. It may be a dumbing down of society. Ryan Thorpe, wow, well, good to see ya. I've never seen you in these parts, and I'd like to see ya. Yeah. Oh, I take it a little spicy. In fact, I expected that I'm going to piss some people off this evening, simply for the fact that most of what you hear out here comes with no authority. I'll say it again. I don't speak from that place. Why? Because I have a whole bunch of demonstrable examples of where I have a large set of experience that I speak on. Now, it is wide, it is complex, and it is intermingled with quantum physics, particle physics, showmanship, philosophy, a little bit of theology. But I try to bring fact to the table at every point and turn. And today, I'm actually just literally ranting about the bullshit. So I don't need to bring fact to the table. Everybody seems to know about it. And what is that bullshit? It's the buying into the pain point messaging that has no solution, that is constant. You're less than, don't worry. You have 12 problems. You can just capitulate to them. That's just normal. That's it. No, it's not. Capitulating to it is not. It will never be normal. It lessens you and it lessens your experience. And I'll never expect or accept that that's going to be the case, because life is fucking rough. Yes, it's Thorpe. Not Thorpe. I am usually challenging the streamer, true. Normally because I'm listening to people that I agree with until I no longer agree with them. It doesn't mean I don't like them. As a matter of fact, the term for that is false association equivalency. FAE is the shortened term for it. And what that example is, and I think I wrote this in, I can't remember whose chat last night. You don't like, or maybe today it was time, I think I've written this in Brittany's chat several times. FAE. The example is, you don't like chocolate. I think chocolate is evil. Therefore, you're evil. That's called FAE. That's actually a line of reasoning that most people actually grow out of in their adolescence. Meaning that by the time you're 18 or 19, normally you've left that behind. Yeah, no relation to Ben or Grace. Yes. How many times, Ryan, have you come up across that one, by the way? That sucks. I'm sorry. Not that they. Well, anyways, I have my own feelings about the challenges of the Thorpes coming to YouTube and just turning everybody on their head when they'd been here for quite a while. And I'm told, yeah, true, right? They'd been here for quite a while, by the way, and if anybody had paid any close attention, all of the facts of the matter and not the proliferation of hyperbole and rhetoric and bullshit that came out of their own mouths on purpose to just inflate the situation, just to get attention. They did such a wonderful job. They were looking, they had offers, and they still do. Hanging out there that none of you know about. It's so beyond everything. I got called attention to them last year, folks. About this time last year. Anyways. So in, what is it, April? When finally I saw like the chats blow up about them, I was like, oh, finally they found the audience that would believe the bullshit. Amazing. Amazing. Which lets you know how willing and wanting people are looking for the witch. They're looking to be told there's a witch. They're looking to be told there's something wrong with them so they can be coddled. They're looking for some answer, and the answer is never going to be instantaneous or easy. It's just not. It's all hard work. And if you don't want to do the hard work, I don't blame you. You can go the way Lao Tzu. Take the wave. Roll where it may take you. That works too. I'm not going to argue with you, but I will argue with you if you sell people on the fact that there is no solution, that there is no answer. There's always a creative answer the world provides, the universe provides. There's always a reason we're experiencing this. Why? Because the permutations of fractal reality. Now, I could go down this route, but I'm not gonna. I've already explained and read the entirety of the gateway process. I've read the entirety of what the report is on the absolute. The place where we are all part of the same consciousness, and we still exist within that consciousness because we're basically just a mirror of it anyways. That's all things, thinking, being. How fucking limiting is it when you boil it down to some crazy ass chick who's doxing somebody, calling up the police to somebody's house, and all you really have to do to deal with that is call the fucking cops on them. And then you find out the cops that they're hanging out with, and you report those fuckers too, because all that shit is illegal. Unless, of course, you're actually looking for it to happen, and then you'll just fucking do all the wrong shit. You'll hit a button and complain about a copyright. You'll hit a button and complain about a community standard. You'll hit a button and think that that's going to go anywhere, but really that's just like the suggestion box that's sitting over the toilet. Suggestion box that's sitting over the trash. It's not going anywhere. It's going in the cylindrical filing cabinet. If you're going to be motivated, you're going to do some real shit. Go do it. Don't talk about it. Be it. That's the only way. You don't like it? I apologize. For nothing, because there's nothing I can do about it. That is the reality. You have to hit the nail on the head or the nail won't go into the wood. Nobody's gonna fucking pick up the hammer for you if you gotta fucking nail the wood to the... This is what I'm saying, and this is part of the problem in life right now. Everybody needs a kick in the fucking ass, not only to just get out of that whole system of I'm not good enough, everything is up against me. The whole universe is against us. We're a little tiny blue speck of dust floating in a light beam in one of the most remote areas of a galaxy, in a remote area of a nebula, surrounded by the most dangerous shit. But some need this pain without answer. But some need to throw their own fucking mud at others to make themselves important. And I urge each and every one of you to, if you can, avoid it. And otherwise carry the word of challenge and say, yo, it doesn't have to be that way. Do you really believe that, or are you just seeing that because it conveniently validates your opinion and your point of view or your experience? Are you telling other people what you're experiencing? I can tell you that I am. I wouldn't be sharing this without it. I would never say, oh man, I'm not seeing this at all. That's not for me, that's for you. You need this. Nah, fuck no. We all do. I'm saying it because it sounds like nobody is really saying, yo, don't give the hate mongers, the mudslingers, the carpetbaggers all your money and power and energy. This is that mental prison I talk about constantly. It's one of the few things that creates what Brittany would call a bubble, which, by the way, until she writes a book, I am still concerned and will always be concerned about the concept of the bubbles when they become more frenetically finite and then open. And I understand they are emotional states of being, but it still becomes clique in her own definitions. Talking about Brittany. God love her. She means well. I've been watching her for a long time. Not taking part in chat, but I mean, I've been aware of her for a decade, literally. So, and I've seen growth, but I also see the sail point of a consciousness to see others as other instead of similar, to see others' needs as unlike your own instead of the same, which is, that will never not be true. No matter how special you feel, you're normal. You're just like everybody else. Abnormality is completely rare because every abnormality that we know of has 100 others that are the same as that abnormality. So even if there's 8 billion of us, that 100 abnormalities is still not as abnormal as a singularity, which is extreme. Now, the other thing I would say is the urge to jump to extremes is the possibilities that make some people not do anything whatsoever. There might be danger, so I shouldn't go outside. Well, yeah, but that causes extreme terror. And you gotta walk the tightrope sometimes. And really, life is what happens, they say, while you're busy making other plans. Don't miss it. It's a beautiful show. It's more of a movie. It's more magical. The actual existence, the world, the entirety of it, the experiences possible, the people that you can meet. When you just go out and open yourself positively, see yourself as better than less. If you think that there's something wrong, work on it. If you have a hard time working on it, work on that. How do you do that? Step by step, inch by inch. It's not something that happens immediately. Everybody is their own. And trust. Those people who seem to have a lot more than you, they got other problems. Do yourself a favor. Use this little bit of magic. In the words of Dr. Ruth Westheimer, leave your troubles at the door. They'll still be there when you return, if they're of any importance. And trust me, in my words, ain't nobody gonna steal that shit. Nobody wants that shit anyhow. Right? And if in fact you're at any kind of a place, my friends, that allows you to avoid the mental prison, to reach your hand out and say, come with me. You don't have to live that way. Here, take the sledgehammer of mirth. Smash down that prison, otherwise known as the obelisk. Oh, my pleasure, Genevieve. I hope you feel better. Smash down the obelisk. What is the obelisk? It is a physical representation of how power works. It is in every major city center in every major city across the planet. Now, I use this as the example because it is that which it is. A power symbol made up of a funnel where all things are holding up the actual power separated at the top. And that funnel, it sends all the energy, you have to be like the Joneses and make as much money, and all your fear and all your negative energy and the battle and the war and the troubles that may be caused by your belief systems or your limitations or your belief that you have to be like somebody else, when in fact you will find your greatest self in you, being you for you and those you love. Life is short, and at the same time, we are doomed, if not blessed, to repeat it until we get the better answer. It's computational. We don't even know. It's been wiped, but we do carry our us forever. Infinitum. Absolute. If you don't follow me there, I urge you to read the report on the gateway process. You'll be shocked to find what the military has known for a long time. That we're much more connected than we are separate. That we're much more alike than we are different. So my friends, it's time to remove that funnel underneath the Ben-Ben. Because that Ben-Ben is a four-sided power system that looks down upon us and crushes each and every one of us who would believe that we are lesser because we are together as one, because we see each other as similar. We are lesser because we feel we are lesser. They would believe and sell you on the idea that you are lesser because you are beautiful as you are. And I'm going to tell you right now that that is a magic trick. And the spell should be over. So, my friends, that request to deny the obelisk its power, to smash the funnel underneath the Ben-Ben and let it come crashing to the ground and kick it over to the corner and let it be the doorstop that holds our door for each of us, so we can pass through a new crossover, a new threshold, to some kind of better experience, whatever that be, whatever that means to you. I urge you to shed that funnel, to not worry about what the Joneses have, to not worry about what somebody's saying, to not worry about what you could be when you think you're not, when you're probably just where you should be. It's tough, probably even, but take some care for yourself, some honor for yourself, some cherishing of that moment of maybe pain for yourself, because maybe there'll be a time where you'll forget that. And then you'll repeat the lesson unless you remember the things that you learned in the dark moments, facing the demons. Because taking the angel's hand, daunting though it may seem, is a lot easier. See, that falling in love with oneself, it takes trust to fall. They don't call it jumping in. And that's what I'm urging, my friends. Love yourself, love others as yourself. It's just that simple. And it takes the message one at a time, each one of you. And I can only hope to plant the seed, watch a flower grow, have the bees carry its pollen out into the breeze, and maybe somewhere else another flower will sprout up. And with that, my friends, it's most important to understand that life, like I said, it's going to get you in the end. Enjoy it. Don't live in somebody else's hell. If they're telling you you're less than, they're telling you you can't go somewhere, if they're telling you you can't watch something you want to watch, they're telling you anything here specifically, fuck them. People like to be offended. The biggest bully is the one you'll do to yourself by allowing others to bully you. And the truth is, my friends, when the bar comes in low, there's only one thing to say. You can say it with me now. Look up. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, hey, what happened there? I do appreciate you hanging out with me being preachy. But it's true. Love yourself, love others. It's a pretty simple message. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work to give yourself the benefit of the doubt. It's a lot of hard work, even harder, to give others the benefit of the doubt. But even more so, to learn from the mistakes we give others, learn from the mistakes from ourselves, and be more honest about it. Much less the fact that to acknowledge those who wouldn't have your best interest and show you that. And then they want your dollar on top of it. Deny and reject all that, my friends. It's all part of that obelisk. It's all part of the mental prison trying to keep you down. When the truth is, you're on a platform that's here to educate, entertain, inspire, bring stories, and bring artists access they never had before. It's not here. Oh, thank you, Bridget. I so appreciate you being here. This is not a place for boxing unless you're in a ring. And if you're here to hurt people, whether you know it or not, I can see you. My friends, that's why I encourage each one of you to help others and yourself. Look up. Click.